A tranquil farm town is turned upside down when a frantic 911 call sends local police scrambling for answers.
I need an ambulance. Someone is bleeding.
He was shot at close range. A kill shot.
Nobody knew what happened. You know, nobody was saying anything.
It really hit me hard. It really, really hit me hard.
Homicide detectives are hard-pressed to nail down a suspect.
She observed a male, black, heavyset with dreadlocks fleeing from the location.
They had no success finding anybody that matched that description.
Until a slew of damning details break the case wide open.
She said, yes, she is a whore and that she had been sleeping with one of his friends.
She was always angry. She was mad and pissed off with everybody.
You could tell he was fighting some type of demon.
This wasn't her first rodeo.
Stay away from crazy-ass women.
February 8th, 2021. Ryan, Iowa. Life moves slow in this small Irish-founded town, renowned for its peaceful farm life and tight-knit community.
Ryan, Iowa is in the eastern part of Iowa, approximately 400 residents. It's only about maybe 6% Black.
It's a place where everyone knows everyone, and it's kind of very familial and very full of community.
You might have some thefts. Maybe somebody's cow got stolen out there or some crops gets taken, but you don't have much violent crime.
So it comes as a complete surprise when an urgent 911 call rings into the local sheriff's office around 1 a.m.
Delaware County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
It's not me, it's my neighbors downstairs. Somebody just got shot.
And just as the operator prepares to send deputies to the apartment complex, another panic call comes through.
It's the neighbor of the previous caller. She identifies herself as 33-year-old Danielle Weiner.
I need an ambulance. Someone is bleeding. They were shot in the face.
She relates that her boyfriend has just been shot, but he's still breathing.
I'm trying to keep him alive.
Okay. So do you have pressure applied to the wound?
Yes, we're pushing on the wound and to keep him alive.
She's very frantic, and while the dispatcher is trying to kind of talk Danielle down, the dispatcher then asks Danielle to check for a pulse.
Can you feel for a pulse?
It's hard for me to feel because I'm panicking. Please hurry.
Danielle's boyfriend, 27-year-old Devon Khalil Harasuelo, had an unwavering compassion for others.
Devon was one of the most sensitive people you would ever meet. He had a big heart. If he ate, you ate. You know, he never cared about what you can bring into the plate.
Devon was my firstborn. He looked out for his sisters, his brother. Devon was always a big brother.
He was the one you went to when you needed advice.
Growing up in a modest single-parent household, Devon always strived to make his mother proud.
He always wanted to look for the next form of growth. If it was his mental well-being, his physical well-being, I mean, even with his spirituality.
Eventually, Devon began fostering ideas of running his own business.
He was into wanting to do his own stuff, be his own boss. One day he's making t-shirts. Other day he's going to the store, the thrift stores, buying books. Going back online, selling the books.
We would discuss how we can make some money, start some businesses. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. And we always both used to tell each other, one day we're gonna change the world.
On his way to changing the world, Devon still liked to have fun.
When it came to Devon and women, he was a little bit of a playboy at times because Devon was radiant. He can walk into the room and the attention was on him and he wouldn't be trying for it.
He brought a girl home and next thing you know, you don't see her no more. You see a different girl next time. So you never see the same girl twice.
He wanted a woman that he didn't have to take care of. I mean, his mom was a strong, independent woman.
And when Devon reconnected with a childhood friend, 33-year-old Danielle Weiner, he thought he'd found just what he'd been looking for.
She was a friend of the family. I think she used to babysit him.
Danielle was 6 years older than Devon.
My daughter and her daughter went to school together. They sat on the bus together. They were each other's friends.
To Devon, Danielle seemed like the strong, persevering woman he desired in a partner.
Danielle had 2 teenage daughters and was a single mom who was kind of getting her life together.
She was in school pursuing a business administration degree and also working 2 jobs.
Before long, their friendship turned romance blossomed into a full-fledged relationship.
Devon moved into Danielle's apartment.
He was helping with the bills and taking care of the kids. That was Dee's thing, was always wanting a family.
And before long, their family began to grow.
Danielle found out she was pregnant.
Devon was so excited to have a child of his own.
Last time I saw him, we all went out, had a big old barbecue. Danielle, her kids, her mom, dad, everybody was there.
But now, Devon is clinging to life with a gunshot wound to the face.
Danielle actually calls into the police to report that her boyfriend has gotten shot.
I'm trying to keep him alive.
She tells them, I was in my bedroom asleep and overheard him arguing with another man, and then there was a gunshot.
After the gun went off, she saw a male fleeing from the front door.
It was a black guy. He had dreads.
Black male with dreads?
Stocky. Yes, he was stocky, and they were arguing outside, and it's blood everywhere.
As Danielle remains on the line with 911, first responders arrive at the apartment.
Can I hang up the phone? He told me to hang up the phone.
Yep, that's fine. We can hang up.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
They see the victim laying on his back. He's in the hallway. He has an obvious gunshot wound to the left cheek.
First responders rush to Devon's aid.
But when they go to check his pulse, they come to a grim realization.
They're too late. Devon is dead.
At 27 years old, Devon Harasuelo was on his way to achieving his dreams with his girlfriend, Danielle Weiner, by his side.
He was a go-getter. He taught you how to follow both paths and to make a plan and execute that plan.
Devon and Danielle were expecting their first child together, and he couldn't wait to become a father.
But now the couple's bright future has been shattered after Devon is shot and killed inside their apartment.
When I got the phone call, it was Danielle. I'm thinking, what could she possibly have to say to me, at 2 a.m? She told me that Devon had died. Just like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's saying it again. She just said he was scrapping with this guy and the guy shot him. It really hit me hard. It really, really hit me hard.
I didn't believe it. Nobody knew what happened. Nobody was saying anything. It was just that he wasn't there.
In their search for answers, police turned to the surviving victims, Danielle Weiner and her 2 teenage daughters.
They needed to find this person quickly before there was another victim.
So they were asking her, do you know what direction he went in? Was he on foot? Did he have a vehicle?
Unfortunately, Danielle is only able to provide the same basic details she gave the 911 operator.
Danielle related to the officers that she was in the bedroom. She had heard an argument with some person at the front door.
The next thing that she knows, a gunshot goes off.
Danielle said that as she ran to the front of the apartment, she only caught a glimpse of Devon's attacker.
She observed a male, black, heavyset with dreadlocks fleeing from the location. She saw her boyfriend had been shot in the left cheek and was laying on the floor.
She wasn't sure if the shooter was on foot or in a car, and she certainly wasn't able to give a description of any vehicle.
And Danielle's teenage daughters, who were also home at the time, don't have any clues for deputies.
While this is happening, her kids are in the house. They're all asleep.
They didn't see the shooter. They didn't hear anything.
Yet even with little to go on, police are hopeful their target will be easy to track down.
Frankly, this is a primarily white community out in the middle of Iowa in the cornfields, and a large black male with dreadlocks would stand out. And if he's on foot, then there's a good chance that they would see him traveling.
So they send out as many units as their town can in order to search for this person.
Try as they might, however, deputies' hopes are soon dashed.
They had no success finding anybody that matched that description.
And police know that if the person that they're looking for left in a car, they're long gone.
As officers continue searching for the mysterious assailant, homicide detectives arrive at the crime scene to take a closer look around the home.
The first thing that they notice is that the front door is intact.
The front door was not kicked in, nor was the lock jimmied.
There wasn't anything to indicate that there was forced entry or that somebody had broken into the apartment.
Devon was shot at close range, and he was hit in the left cheek, a kill shot, which means there was little chance of survival.
They also noticed he had different scratches and scrapes, like he had got into an altercation.
The one glaring detail immediately stands out to them.
He was not positioned at the front door as reported by the dispatcher.
Instead, he was lying in the hallway near the kitchen.
Also, his pants were down, his arms were up above his head, and his coat has been pulled up as if he was dragged to that location.
There was blood marks that also correlated with that he was dragged down the hall.
As they follow the trail of blood, detectives make a startling discovery.
As they approach the bedroom, there is a pool of blood.
They find blood splattered all over the room and on a laundry basket nearby.
That leads him to believe that this was the original crime scene.
Devon was shot in the bedroom and then moved towards the front of the home.
Which contradicts Danielle's statement.
You try to give a witness the benefit of the doubt. The adrenaline's going, and the heart rate and everything like that. They're nervous. They're afraid.
But these are some pretty big inconsistencies.
Has Danielle been lying to them?
Police in rural Ryan, Iowa, are investigating the murder of 27-year-old Devon Harrisuelo after he was brutally gunned down inside the apartment he shared with his girlfriend, Danielle Weiner.
According to Danielle, the stocky black male shot Devon shortly after an argument broke out.
But while examining the crime scene, investigators have uncovered crucial evidence contradicting Danielle's statement.
They're seeing a couple things that were a little unusual. She's telling them he was shot at the front door by this offender.
But there's a big blood spot in the bedroom, and they see that there are marks that looks like this body was drugged after the fact.
All the physical evidence so far seems to point to the crime scene being, in fact, in the bedroom.
And the bloody bedroom isn't the only evidence pointing to their new theory.
Police find a single 9mm shell casing by the bed.
They also observe an open safe in that bedroom with a gun holster and a 9mm clip.
Additionally, police notice a suitcase by the bedroom door.
It looked like it was being prepared for someone to leave.
There's blood on the floor by the closet, and they found that there was a mop, which looked like it had been used to mop blood under the door.
It's almost as if somebody's trying to clean up the crime scene.
Has Danielle been lying to police all along?
After they've collected all the evidence and went over everything, they obviously knew Danielle could possibly had some part in the situation or was covering for somebody.
But since Danielle's 2 daughters were asleep when the murder occurred and didn't witness anything, the next person detectives want to speak with is Danielle's neighbor, who also dialed 911 that night.
As we know, we've got 2 911 calls in pretty close succession, and the initial caller is the upstairs neighbor.
Detectives ask the neighbor to walk them through everything she remembers.
The neighbor said shortly after she put her kids to sleep, she heard a car door slamming.
Then, she heard 2 voices arguing downstairs.
There was some banging.
She heard somebody saying something to the effect, "Oh, my eye, you hurt my eye," or "my eye is bleeding."
Then she heard someone saying, "Get out of my house."
But suddenly the voices stopped.
And then she heard the gunfire.
The voices you heard, were they male or female?
Well, one was male and the other was definitely female.
Detectives have to wonder, did Danielle shoot Devon?
A number of things obviously have to go through your mind, but it's a little too early in the investigation to make any conclusions.
However, they obviously knew Danielle wasn't telling the truth, and at the end they decided to take her in for more questioning.
With doubts at an all-time high, police must ensure Danielle isn't concealing anything else.
As they get ready to go to the police station, the police ask Danielle to step out of the patrol car and begin to do a body search.
They searched her purse, they searched her body, and they found nothing on her.
However, before Danielle gets back in the car, something catches their eye.
Under the blanket that Danielle had been using to keep warm, now they notice the glint of metal.
Much to the police's surprise, it was a gun, and this just simply blew the police away.
And in fact, there's blood on the barrel of this handgun.
That gun was a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, the same type that killed Devon.
During the investigation into the shooting of 27-year-old Devon Harrisuelo, Iowa police have made an alarming discovery in his girlfriend Danielle Weiner's possession.
They find a 9mm gun on her, the same type of gun used to kill Devon.
This just simply blew the police away. We now have a murder weapon found in the back of a patrol car.
Wait, I can explain.
You can explain it down at the station.
They're not messing around with Danielle anymore. She's taken into custody at this point.
Back at the station, homicide detectives sit down with Danielle.
There is a myriad of questions, so many unanswered questions, but it appears that Danielle's story at this point is falling apart at the seams.
However, detectives now face a new problem.
She went from giving the story and giving all the details to being completely uncooperative.
Danielle doesn't want to answer any questions, and she refused requests to swab her hands and clothes for evidence.
She went as far as trying to take a cup of water to wash her hands, which would wash any evidence off of her hands.
But when detectives lay out the evidence against her, they hope Danielle will have a change of heart.
Hey, informer, we got police officers out here, at risk out here searching for this suspect. that you indicated, this large male black with the dreadlocks, and so far there hasn't been any location of the suspect.
It's clear now that the story she told about an unidentified man shooting Devon was just a lie.
None of the evidence that they found in the home matches what she told detectives.
There's a 9mm shell casing in your bedroom. You know, there's a safe with a holster. There's a 9mm clip.
And the more evidence that contradicts her story and things just don't line up, the more she gets nervous and squirms.
Under the growing weight of the evidence, Danielle cracks.
She tells the officers, okay, you know what? I'm ready to cooperate. I'm gonna tell you what really happened.
When it was bad, it was really bad.
She then tells the police that the relationship with Devon wasn't always roses.
For 5 years, they had dated on and off, enduring all types of highs and lows over the course of their relationship.
And when the low was low, she said it included not only emotional and verbal abuse, it included physical abuse.
According to her, he had gotten violent in the past with her on numerous occasions.
Though for a while, things seemed to be getting better.
Danielle said that after she'd gotten pregnant, Devon was much happier. They were both looking forward to having a child.
But 4 months later, tragedy struck.
Unfortunately, Danielle miscarried and lost the baby. And according to her, Devon went into a downward spiral.
She said that the abuse had gotten worse ever since she lost the baby about a month ago.
Danielle described to the police that when he drank, things got even worse.
Nobody was coming to her rescue.
Danielle says that when Devon came home last night, she could tell he had been drinking a lot.
And he was so out of control, according to Danielle.
Danielle said that she tried to talk to Devon about his behavior, but Devon wouldn't listen.
Devon called her a whore, a bitch, all types of other derogatory names.
She said he just became more belligerent, leading to the point of saying, "I'll kill you, and no one will find you in the cornfield."
In that moment, Danielle decided to fight fire with fire.
Out of anger, Danielle sarcastically said, yes, she is a whore and that she had been sleeping with one of his friends.
Danielle says that's when things took a turn for the worse.
She said he punches her so hard it knocks her glasses off.
Danielle said she told him that he needed to leave, but he tackled her.
She related that he had covered her mouth and nose, prevented her from breathing.
At that point, to defend herself, she had plunged her thumb into his eye socket and it allowed her to break free.
Danielle says she hoped that'd be the end of it, but Devon was relentless.
At some point, she managed to roll from up under him and run to her bedroom.
Once they got in there, he punched her, which caused her to fall across the other side of the bed.
According to Danielle, it was almost like Devon was possessed.
She did not even recognize who Devon was. There was a level of rage and anger and fury that kind of didn't look like the other times in which they argued.
She was for sure that he was trying to kill her. But then she remembered that the safe was open.
She says she had only one decision left to make: to live or to die.
Danielle says she managed to get a hold of the gun and fire off one shot. And that was the shot that hit Devon in his cheek.
But when she shot him in the face, she was even in shock herself.
She said she didn't even mean to shoot him in the face, but she didn't have her glasses on to see where she was aiming.
Danielle says she flew into action and dialed 911.
I need an ambulance.
Then, realizing that he was seriously hurt at that point, she really panicked, started trying to render aid to him.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep him alive. He has a pulse.
Danielle says she drugged him from the bedroom while she was on the phone with 911.
She said that she needed more space to administer first aid, so she moved him to get more space.
But if what Danielle's saying is true, why didn't she tell officers this version of the story when they first spoke with her at the crime scene?
They asked her if it was, straight self-defense thing. Why didn't you say that at the beginning?
She said she was scared and didn't want the police to blame her for what happened.
Historically, within the Black community, you kind of have this love-hate relationship with the police and this distrust.
Black women are the least likely to be believed when it is a situation in which the police are involved in general.
Ultimately, she just made a bad decision at the spur of the moment.
Danielle admits that's also why she acted so strangely after being searched.
That's the reason why she didn't want police to swab her hands and she hid the gun.
But when it comes to the mop and smeared blood in the hallway, Danielle claims she has no idea what happened.
Danielle said that she wasn't the one who tried to mop up the blood. The cleanup job at the crime scene, Danielle doesn't have an explanation for that.
Detectives are skeptical of Danielle's version of events.
Police decide to keep her in custody as they continue trying to verify her account.
And some of her statement does check out.
Danielle does have scratches and bruises on her face as well as a busted lip.
So obviously there was some type of physical confrontation.
Devon's autopsy also lends credence to Danielle's statement.
They found out that his blood alcohol level was very high.
It was more than double the legal limit at 0.162%.
But when Devon's family comes to speak with them, investigators realize there's much more to this case than meets the eye.
The family claims that the motive in this case was not self-defense. It was jealousy.
His ex-girlfriend showed up 2 weeks before he passed. 2 weeks later, he's gone.
Murder suspect Danielle Weiner has just admitted to shooting her younger boyfriend, Devon Harrisuelo, in self-defense. But when detectives sit down with Devon's family, they say Danielle can't be trusted.
When investigators started talking to the family, they depicted their relationship in a completely different light.
They asked me about him being abusive to women. I said, Devon, he doesn't hit women.
He doesn't believe in hitting women. He's quick to walk away more than anything.
The family explains ever since Devon met Danielle, he'd been a shell of himself.
If you look at Devon before he met Danielle, he was this confident, radiant man.
Life of the party, I'm having a blast, everybody wants to be around me. And then all of a sudden, now he's showing signs of depression.
Christmas, didn't see him. New Year's, same thing.
I want to say 1.5 years. He was gone. It wasn't him. That's not him.
He let his hair grow. He wouldn't comb it. He would sleep on my sofa for like days. And he wouldn't change his clothes.
Something was not right. He didn't shine. His light, he was dark. I told him, don't go back. I said, you're not happy. I said, this ain't you. You could tell he was fighting some type of demon.
According to Devon's loved ones, Danielle was known to have a short fuse.
Even though Devon never told me if she was abusive, I truly believe she was destructive.
She was always angry. She was mad and pissed off with everybody. Not just everybody, the world, her situation.
I remember hearing her over the phone one time, yelling at him because he couldn't make it to be by her, something along those lines.
Supposed to act like a lady. You're not supposed to want to fight. She always want to fight everybody.
In fact, Devon's mother has her own theory behind her son's murder, and Danielle's role in it.
I believe that the argument was about him leaving.
According to his mother, Devon had even met up with an old flame.
His ex-girlfriend showed up 2 weeks before he passed. And they went out, hung out for a while. 2 weeks later, he's gone. I think she found out about it, that them two were hanging out together, or maybe he wanted to leave and go back with her. I don't know. But whatever the case is, I do believe that played a part of it.
The family claims that the motive in this case was not self-defense. It was jealousy.
So who's telling the truth?
Is this a self-defense case, or is it a cold-blooded murder?
Women lie, men lie. Everything boils down to he said, she said. Who can tell the best story?
While Danielle sits in custody, it gives detectives more time to examine the clues laid out before them.
They put together a detailed timeline, and suddenly, one detail is staring them in the face.
The neighbor reported hearing a gunshot around 1:12 a.m. But Danielle didn't call 911 until 1:19 a.m.
Detectives realized that Danielle waited about a good 7 or 8 minutes before calling 911 after Devon was shot. Did that give her time to come up with the story about the male intruder?
It was a black guy. He had dreads.
Black male with dreads?
Stocky. Yes, he was stocky.
But that's not the only detail investigators uncover that isn't sitting right with them.
Danielle was about to leave town for 6 weeks for job training, and she was going to leave her kids with Devon.
Which kind of didn't make sense to them.
I mean, if I was afraid of someone, I certainly wouldn't leave my children in their care.
None of this lined up with Danielle's depiction of Devon being a monstrous, brutal man.
It's a huge red flag for investigators, especially when they compare it to their next discovery.
They were finding out that, in fact, this wasn't her first rodeo.
She stabbed an ex-boyfriend and sent him to the hospital.
Iowa detectives investigating 33-year-old Danielle Weiner for the murder of her boyfriend, 27-year-old Devon Harrisuelo, have just learned this isn't Danielle's first run-in with the law.
They found that she actually had a prior case where she had stabbed her ex-boyfriend. Now, she didn't acquire any charges because, like this situation, she said that she was in self-defense.
Did Danielle follow the same script after the attack on Devon?
She knew what to say to, hey, I can proffer a self-defense thing here.
She manipulated the crime scene. We caught her lying.
These type of things are beginning to add up and stack up against Danielle.
And the most damning evidence of all comes straight from Danielle's mouth.
They started listening to her recorded phone calls as she was locked up, to her friends' family, and even to the kids.
Danielle is methodically crafting her self-defense case and coaching her children on what to say to police.
She made reference to her kind of aligning her story with the evidence that was presented.
She refers to Devon's body as the item, as she tells them what to say in court if they're asked to testify.
Danielle even scolded one of her daughters over the phone for talking to police.
To detectives, this doesn't sound like an innocent woman telling the truth.
These are things that someone in distress doesn't do, whether it's a mistake or not.
It sounds like a liar trying to get her story straight, to get her off the hook for shooting Devon.
At this point, detectives have little doubt that Devon was murdered in cold blood.
So they went ahead and charged Danielle with first-degree murder, and her bond was set at $1 million.
For Devon's family, Danielle's arrest is a bittersweet development in the case.
It was very painful. Very, very painful. Because it's a person that I knew. She was around my kids, around her kids, you know? So it was very hard for me. Very hard.
And when the case goes to trial on April 25th, 2023, it's far from a slam dunk.
With no eyewitness or video, there is nothing proving that Danielle lied about what happened that night. Prosecutors focus on building a powerful circumstantial case against Danielle and proving to the jury that she is nothing more than a liar who has repeatedly told lie after lie after lie.
And they agree with Danielle on one fact. The night of February 7th, 2021, a heated argument sparked everything.
What prompted the argument is still unclear, but there was an argument.
They could have been arguing about the fact that Devon was seeing his ex.
It all came to a head when Danielle told Devon to get out of her apartment, which explains the open suitcase on the bed.
But he was prepared to leave. He wasn't fighting her. He wasn't attacking her.
Prosecutors say Danielle could have simply let Devon walk out. But in a rage, she turned violent.
Danielle opened the safe and took out her 9mm handgun.
And that's when she shot him.
The prosecution asserts Danielle fired the killing blow not in self-defense, but as an act of rage.
It took 8 minutes for her to even call the police, and by the time she called the police, she already had a story.
Then she tried to hide evidence. She tried to clean up the crime scene.
In a surprising move, Danielle takes the stand in her own defense.
She was saying such things like he hit her, beat her.
She tried to make him to be this monster who battered her and did all these horrible things to her.
However, prosecutors argue Danielle's self-defense story is a cleverly calculated response.
She lied to the police on several occasions, and as a result, it was very cut and dry. She's not credible.
I know this. If she did it to save her own life, she would have said so in the beginning.
She meant to shoot him. And if your purpose was to shoot him, your intention was to kill him.
As both sides rest their case, it ultimately comes down to one question. What will the jury believe?
It only took a couple of hours for the jury to come up with their decision.
In the end, the jury decided that she was not guilty of first-degree murder.
With first-degree murder, there typically has to be a level of premeditation. She's plotting in her head, hey, I'm gonna trick him into coming into the apartment, and then I'm gonna kill him.
However, just because the crime wasn't premeditated doesn't mean Danielle isn't guilty.
They did find her, in fact, guilty of second-degree murder, which doesn't necessarily have the elements of the premeditation.
Under Iowa law, Danielle is required to serve a minimum 35-year sentence in prison.
In spite of the tragedy they've endured, the conviction comes as a relief to Devon's loved ones.
I said, thank you. I said, but wherever y'all send her, make sure it's not with the people who just found the Lord and try to live a good life. Put it with the real bad ones, the one that don't care if they live or die today or tomorrow.
I mean, at the end of the day, her life is gone. She did not just ruin one life, she ruined multiple. She destroyed a family. You know, she took something that is irreplaceable.
Everyone has a past. But when you've hit rock bottom and finally come out on the other side, you're looking for reform, for change, someone to love the new you. But what if you put your faith in the wrong person? Maybe the love you were hoping to lift you up drags you right back down. And this time, there's no escape. May 21st, 2017. Dallas, Texas. The moonlit city is tranquil and quiet.
It was early morning hours of Sunday morning, so most people are sleeping.
Over on the west side of town, a motel clerk is just coming back to the front desk.
He had taken a quick break, but he was heading back to the front counter.
But as he peers into the lobby, he's met with a gruesome sight.
He noticed a body. He also saw the blood. He was instantly afraid.
Upon receiving the clerk's call, law enforcement swarmed the motel parking lot.
The clerk, he waves down the police and he gestures them to come over to the lobby.
Officers check the victim for a pulse and quickly determine that he is deceased.
He had a lot of blood in his upper area. He was not responsive.
You can see that he's been shot twice in the chest.
Police check the man for an ID, but his pockets are empty.
His identity wasn't known at that point, so they had noted his name as John Doe.
Who is this man, and how did he end up in a motel lobby dead? As detectives dig deeper, they'll uncover a tale of redemption turned horribly wrong, and a love-struck woman at the center of it all. "33-year-old Dallas resident Brittany Pollard has a new lease on life.
She was outgoing. She had bright red hair. And she wanted to be seen. She wanted to be noticed.
She would strike up a conversation with anyone.
Brittany was trying to make up for lost time. She had recently been released from prison for a crime she committed as a troubled teenager.
Like a lot of teenagers, Brittany was very rebellious. She was very smart, but instead of focusing on school, she fell in with the wrong crowd.
One evening, her teenage angst boiled over.
She got into a violent altercation with a family member and pulled a gun. She shot her relative.
It was a sheer impulsive act. She did not have any intent to kill the relative. However, her anger got the best of her.
While the relative only suffered minor injuries, Brittany was charged with aggravated assault. She then spent 8 years in a Texas correctional facility.
Initially, when Brittany went to prison, like most young people, there's the shock and disbelief.
Fortunately, Brittany's time behind from the ashes of her past.
That time in prison, there was a change that happened then, but it was as if she got the structure that she always needed.
Unlike a lot of folks that sort of use their past as a reason to not progress or hold them back, Brittany was trying to overcome that and push forward. She began going to school and working and supporting herself, and she was interested in mental health and helping other folks.
There's a genuine care for other people when you go into mental health. She was working towards that and actually was going to school to be a psychiatric nurse.
However, as Brittany continued to work on reforming her life, she couldn't help but feel like something was missing.
She really felt like she was missing that one piece. She didn't have someone to share her life with.
That is, until she met 33-year-old Brandon Jordan outside her apartment building.
He was selling snacks and cigarettes, trying to earn a few extra bucks.
Brittany struck up a conversation with the attractive stranger, and something happened.
Brandon was tall and handsome, and he was quiet, but he had a powerful presence, and Brittany was attracted to that.
Sparks fly. This is the guy that she can see herself with.
Before long, Brittany and Brandon started dating. The two shared a special bond over the fact that they both came from a similar past.
Both experienced issues with the legal system, so they could connect in that way.
Brandon had recently been released from prison after serving 10 years for armed robbery.
Brandon had gone to a convenience store and had robbed the clerk at gunpoint.
Just like Brittany, he was in the process of trying to reform his life after his time behind bars.
They kind of met at a time where they really needed one another.
Maybe she was soft in her heart for him because she understood where he was coming from.
After just a few months of dating, Brittany invited Brandon to move in with her.
He tells her, I'm having difficulty paying my rent. She takes that moment and she offers to let him move in. That's part of her personality. She's a caring, compassionate individual.
However, the emotional connection the two felt for each other was no match to their physical connection.
This is something that she was longing for, and she felt that she really connected with Brandon. Their relationship began to move very quickly.
Brandon becomes a stabilizing force for her that she's never had. Someone just understands her and loves her, and he provides that.
Anytime you felt like you've been missing out on love and haven't been able to find it, like this void is in your life, and now you have somebody to come and fill that void, that's a good feeling.
Love at first sight, a budding mental health career, Brittany was truly happy.
Brittany's feeling good. Things are falling together, and she feels like she's in the right path and doing the right things.
But little did Brittany know, her new love would push her back to where she started from. May 21st, 2017. Police are investigating a fatal shooting at a local Dallas motel.
The body had been found at the front lobby area.
When they get there, they see a man lying there in a pool of blood.
The victim, he didn't have an ID card, so they don't know his identity immediately.
As they're surveying the lobby, officers make an important observation.
The responding officer notices that there's no blood spatter. So at that point, he determines that this is not the crime scene.
Officers notice a faint trail of blood and follow it outside.
Police follow the blood trail up the stairs. Their guns are drawn.
The trail stops at room 608 entry.
They don't know if there's a shooter in the room. They don't know if there's a victim in the room.
Police burst into the door, hoping they're not entering into a gunfight. But what's beyond the door is just the beginning. And soon, police will discover a desperate woman determined to please her man, no matter the cost.
Brittany found herself being willing to do almost anything in the name of love.
Spring of 2017, it was love at first sight.
Brandon and Brittany, they really hit it off. She felt so hard for Brandon.
The two bonded over similar run-ins with the law.
He also had a past history where he
had the second chance, another chance to make things right.
Brittany was in school for her dream job in the mental health field, and she was helping Brandon get back on his feet.
Brittany was taking classes to become a psychiatric nurse, and she let Brandon stay with her because he didn't have a place to go, and she wanted to help him.
Brittany was sure great things were in the couple's future. But little did she know, in her quest to help her new man, she'd ultimately derail her own future. May 21st, 2017. Dallas police are investigating a recent motel shooting.
The clerk called 911 to let him know they found the man dead in the lobby and that he had been shot twice in the chest.
Detectives have determined that the lobby where the victim was found deceased isn't their crime scene.
They found a trail of blood, and they believe it would take them to where the shooting took place.
With guns drawn, police prepare for entry into room 608.
They don't know what they're going to find. They don't know if there's a shooter in there.
Police burst inside and clear the room. It appears the gunman is long gone. Within minutes, detectives arrive on scene. As they look around, they find clues indicating what happened earlier that night.
There was a small amount of blood near the bed. They found shell casings that were consistent with a .380. The bed frame had also been shot.
Police also find a wallet sitting on a bedside table.
There was hundreds of dollars, so an indication of robbery wasn't quite there.
However, the wallet does indicate one thing: the victim's identity. 40-year-old Alejandro Lopez.
According to his ID, he was a Dallas local. So at that point, they weren't sure why he had got a hotel room for the night.
But who killed Alejandro? And where are they now? As officers continue searching the room for clues, detectives are faced with the difficult task of informing Alejandro's family of what's happened.
They were able to locate the information for Alejandro's family and contact them.
The family was very, very upset. And they just couldn't believe that really happened to him because of the person that he is. Who wants to hurt him?
Alejandro's family tells detectives he was beloved by everyone who knew him.
He had a sweet personality. He was a hardworking man. He worked in construction. He really believed in supporting his family.
He would give you his shirt up his back, had to. This great guy to be around.
After detectives wrap up their phone call with Alejandro's family, they're informed that the motel has surveillance footage of the property. Detectives meet with the motel clerk to view the footage. First, the clerk pulls up video of the motel lobby.
Alejandro making his way from the manager's office, opening the door. Most of that is captured on video.
When he got there, there was no one there. He collapsed, and he's just gasping for air.
The clerk then pulls up the video feed located near room 608. As luck would have it, they see Alejandro exit the room.
They see the victim stagger out of the door and go toward the office.
Detectives ask the clerk to scrub the footage back further. And that's when they hit pay dirt.
They see the two suspects in this case. One is a tall African-American male.
And this man had his hand on his pocket, most likely on his gun. Then an African-American woman with bright red hair and a colorful dress runs out.
The female has on a very distinctive dress. It's a tube-like dress with a lot of colorful flowers.
Luckily, the motel clerk is able to recognize the male assailant.
And he says, it's Brandon Jordan. He's been staying here for a while.
The clerk says Brandon's room is on the floor below the victim's. The clerk also recognizes the woman in the footage, but he's not able to provide her name.
The motel staff tell the detectives that, we really don't know her, only that she hangs out with Brandon.
She wasn't actually listed as a party in that room.
Detectives ask the clerk to pull up the surveillance footage from outside Brandon's room. When they view it, they see that the couple had stopped back by the room before they fled the area.
Within minutes after the crime, they got a few things together and fled where they were living.
Based on the footage, it looked like they hadn't returned since.
Detectives put out a bolo for the two suspects and prepare to search Brandon's room.
They go into the room and they find a number of things. They found a bunch of mail addressed to Brandon Jordan.
They also found some mail that belongs to Brittany Pollard.
Now they had a female's name as well.
When detectives continue searching the room, they find their most valuable piece of evidence yet.
They found a gun that was involved in the shooting.
The gun was actually put in the desk of that hotel room, and the caliber is consistent with the shell casings that they had found at the crime scene.
It seems the couple had stopped back by the room to stash the gun.
Brandon didn't want to get caught with the gun. He wanted to leave it there in that room.
As police continue to process the crime scene, One officer notices someone unexpected heading in their direction.
Officer sees African American female come walking up in the colorful dress with the red hair. You know, bells go off. Could that be our person that we saw in the surveillance video?
She walks again right by officers and attempts to go into the room.
Officers stop the woman, and she identifies herself as Brittany Pollard.
This is the same name found on the mail in Brandon Jordan's room.
It's unbelievable that she will return to a crime scene, especially with cops swarming the place.
She tells officers she left something in the room and needs to get inside.
Officers arrest her on the spot. They told her she was caught on tape wearing the same dress, leaving the victim's room just moments after he was shot.
Brittany flies into a frantic fit.
They arrested her. Brittany started crying. She was kind of hysterical.
She was insistent that she's not guilty.
Brittany finally calms down and is taken to the police car. As detectives are putting her into the vehicle, she says something that piques their interest.
She just started talking, you know, hey, I didn't do anything. I know who did. Detectives were in fact interested. They were trying to figure out all the pieces to this puzzle, and now they had somebody who had information. She says, I can show you where he is.
Brittany was drawn to Brandon. Even though she's moved on, she was rehabilitated, there was still a part of him that reminded her of where she came from.
May 21st, 2017. Dallas detectives are investigating the shooting death of 40-year-old Alejandro Lopez.
After getting shot twice, he managed to make it from the room on the second floor all the way down to the lobby area. He's taking his last breaths, and he doesn't make it.
Police have just arrested Brittany Pollard as she attempted to enter suspected gunman Brandon Jordan's motel room.
She was hysterical. She was scared. She was crying. So she was really upset because she felt like she didn't do anything, so why am I being arrested?
As police are putting Brittany into the patrol car, she makes a shocking revelation.
She said, I can take you to his locations. Let me show you where he is. Let me show you where he hangs out. Just to make sure that they knew, I'm on your side. I'm not on his.
When Brittany was arrested and she was placed in a car, she knew that the detectives probably knew it was Brandon because the room was registered to him.
Brittany tells detectives Brandon is hiding out at a friend's house.
She says she's never been there, but he gave her the address so she could meet him.
She told the cops she can lead them to Brandon.
Detectives are suspicious of Brittany's sudden willingness to cooperate. After all, she was seen in the surveillance footage with Brandon just moments after Alejandro's murder.
Brittany was insistent that she's not guilty. She's insistent that she's not a party. She's not involved in any of this, and I just want to help the police.
Detectives know they need to find Brandon Jordan as soon as possible, so they decide to take Brittany up on her offer.
This is someone who's armed and dangerous. He had just killed a man. They don't know if he's out there on a killing spree or if this was just a one-off kind of thing. So they immediately have an interest to go find this Brandon Jordan guy.
Brittany gives detectives the address for a house on the north side of town.
While the detectives had Brittany in the back of the car going to look for Brandon, I think at first they think she was really trying to help them, but the detective discovered that Brandon wasn't here or there.
Brittany insists she made a mistake.
She says she had the address wrong, but she's positive she has it now.
Brittany gives detectives a new address, and they skeptically put it into their GPS. But Brittany continues to lead them from one dead end to another.
After you go to several different places and there's no Brandon, you're starting to realize that, this is a wild goose chase. She's just giving us a runaround because she really don't want us to find Brandon because she's protecting him.
It seems she's learned from her past mistakes and perhaps gotten mixed up with the wrong man.
Usually it's going to be the boyfriend that's the mastermind. In this case, they just thought that, yeah, Brandon was in charge. He called the shots. Brittany just did as instructed.
They tell her, listen, you're going to take the fall for this if you're not honest with us. You need to come clean and tell us the truth and tell us how this went down.
But Brittany keeps her lips sealed.
She's still, in a sense, covering for him, wanting to make sure that he's okay. Wherever he is, I'm going to delay the police a little bit to give him a head start, to make sure that he's well taken care of, putting her man first and not fully thinking about consequences or herself in that moment.
With Brittany not willing to budge, police bring out their secret weapon.
Police had confiscated Brittany's phone during the arrest, and they got a warrant to search her texts and phone calls. And when they did this, they struck gold.
The detectives bring out Brittany's phone. She looks totally defeated. She knows what's in there. The detectives know what's in there. She knows the jig is up.
The text message was probably the most damning part of all the evidence.
At that point, Brittany knows she's in danger of going back to prison for a second time. But that isn't going to stop her from continuing to protect her man.
Although she was caught herself, still in her mind, she was trying to figure out.
17. Dallas detectives are interviewing 33-year-old Brittany Pollard, one of the suspects in the murder of 40-year-old Alejandro Lopez.
They had surveillance footage of Brittany and her boyfriend, Brandon Jordan, leaving the victim's motel room just moments after he was shot.
Detectives are frustrated with Brittany. They know she has a checkered past and seemingly has finally got her life in order. So why is she back on the wrong side of the law?
She had taken officers on a wild goose chase. She refuses to talk to them until the police bring out the phone.
Brittany has been uncooperative, to say the least. In order to get her to talk, detectives confront her with the shocking evidence they found on her cell phone.
The text message said, "I'm in room 608. Hurry up and come rob the man I'm with."
The text message was probably the most damning part of all the evidence.
It's clear, you can see that Robert was the motive.
Faced with the irrefutable truth, Brittany breaks down.
Once she was confronted with the text message, she says, "Yes, we intended to rob, but we didn't intend to kill."
Detectives tell Brittany to back up and start from the beginning. She explains it all started a couple months after she and Brandon moved in together.
All the excitement and fun of the relationship depleted pretty quickly because they had to focus just on surviving day to day, and it was a struggle.
Brittany says rent and tuition bills began to stack up, and before long, the couple was evicted.
Brandon and Brittany moved out of the apartment, and it's a motel. It's about $50 a day to stay there.
Brittany says that while the motel offered them a quick refuge, coming up with the daily cash proved difficult.
They lived pretty much day to day. Brandon sold a little bit of weed and a little bit of dope to help raise money to pay for their motel room.
But before long, Brandon came up with a plan to get them more of the cash they needed.
Brandon knew that robbery was a quick and easy way to get money.
Brandon suggested that she go out and meet someone and flirt and take it full force.
He wanted her to use her charm and her smile and her body to find a man and think that she was into him, but really all along the plan was to rob him.
Brittany's a smart woman. She knows that this isn't the right thing to do, but I think she also wants to meet the needs of Brandon.
Ultimately, Brittany agrees to find a man and bring him back to the motel, where Brandon can rob him at gunpoint.
I think that she did it because it benefited him and it made him happy, and that's exactly what she wanted to do, was keep Brandon happy.
Brittany insists the plan was never to kill anyone.
It was supposed to be a one-time thing until they got back on their feet.
Of course, This puts Brittany in a compromising situation, but she also loved her man, and she perceived it as a means of survival.
Brittany confesses that they put their plan into motion at a nearby bar.
She sees Alejandro sitting at the bar, spending money on drinks, and thought that he'll be the perfect target.
She sees that money. She understands that this is a jackpot.
Brittany walked up to Alejandro and started speaking Spanish. He was really excited to meet someone who he could talk to.
He was kind of shy, didn't know how to talk to women, so when the opportunity arose when a female approached him, naturally he's going to buy into that.
So with the little bit of Spanish that Brittany knew, she was able to connect with him even the more so, and he most likely let his guard down and was able to bring it into his safe space.
Brittany tells detectives that she and Alejandro talked and drank for hours. Then, Brittany suggested they rent a motel room to keep the party going.
Brittany suggested that they go back to a motel, but what she didn't tell him is that's where her and Brandon were living.
Brittany says once they got back to the motel room, she continued her act.
She's flirting with Alejandro, waiting for the perfect moment to text Brandon.
It was clear Alejandro was really into her and wanted to take things to the next level.
Before things went too far, Brittany got up to go to the bathroom and secretly sent the signal to Brandon.
Brittany surreptitiously texts Brandon and says, "I'm in room 608 with a man. Come rob him, hurry."
Brittany is having mixed emotions at that moment. She probably was sweating. She probably had a rapid heartbeat.
Little did Brittany know that one quick text would spark a whirlwind of chaos that would change all of their lives forever.
Brittany had no idea it would go this far. She said,
May 2017, Dallas, Texas. While Brittany Pollard sits in police custody in connection with the murder of Alejandro Lopez, her boyfriend Brandon Jordan remains at large.
Brittany and Brandon had came up with a plan to get some quick cash to pay their rent.
The plan was for Brittany to seduce a man, take him back to the motel where her and Brandon were living, text Brandon when and where everything was going down, and commit the stick-up.
Brittany tells police after she brought her target back to the motel, she sent Brandon a text from the bathroom to let him know the plan was a go.
She actually texts Brandon saying, "Hey, I have a guy in this room. Come and rob him, hurry."
Brittany came out of the bathroom, sat down next to Alejandro, and continued flirting so he wouldn't get suspicious.
Brittany says seconds later, Brandon came bursting through the door, pointing a gun at Alejandro and demanding money. But the robbery went terribly awry.
This man comes in, he's towering over Alejandro, and Alejandro has no idea what's going on.
She says it was very chaotic. There was an argument. Brandon didn't speak Spanish. Alejandro didn't speak English.
She said Alejandro responds by pulling out a box cutter and trying to lunge at them.
She says Alejandro was swinging the box cutter around.
Brittany says Brandon then opened fire, shooting Alejandro twice in the chest.
Brittany insists that Brandon shot Alejandro in self-defense and that Brandon was just protecting the both of them.
When Alejandro was shot, there was chaos going on in her mind, that this was not what she expected.
Brittany explains that no one was supposed to get hurt, but they were in fear for their lives, and Brandon had to shoot.
It was all focused on Alejandro. He's the one who pulled out the weapon. He's the one that did this. He was the aggressor.
Brittany's story seems unlikely. However, detectives have confirmed that the victim had a box cutter in his possession that night.
Medical examiners did find a box cutter in Alejandro's pocket.
Brittany says that somehow this person with this box cutter decided to try to attack a person holding a gun, which doesn't make a lot of sense, and it didn't make a lot of sense to law enforcement either.
If he did have the box cutter open, and once he got shot, he'd have dropped it. He wouldn't have taken time to close and put it back in his pocket.
Detectives believe Brittany is throwing the blame on Alejandro to protect Brandon, but they encourage her to continue with her story.
She was saying that they ended up shooting him, so they ran out because they got scared before they had a chance to even take the money.
Brittany says they then went back to Brandon's room, hid the gun, and fled on foot as they heard sirens in the distance.
I'm thinking they're pretty scared at that point. They're not fully thinking things through, but almost in a panic to leave behind the gun.
Brittany says they didn't get far before they realized their mistake. And Brittany volunteered to go back.
When they got off the premise, it dawned on them, oh my gosh, we have to get that weapon out of the room.
He was a convicted felon, and it would have been criminal for him to just be in possession of a weapon, period, much less that he just shot someone with it. That shows the level of dedication that she had to Brandon, that she would be willing to risk her freedom in order to go and get a weapon that he didn't want caught on him.
Detectives ask Brittany once again, where is Brandon? But it's no surprise, she pleads ignorance.
She wasn't going to give the police anything that would have helped lead them to him.
The one thing that stayed consistent was that she was trying to help Brandon.
At that point, Brittany Pollard is charged with capital murder. With one suspect behind bars, detectives focus on Brandon Jordan.
The detectives are just covering all their bases. They were determined to lock up Brandon.
But before long, detectives receive a very interesting phone call.
The police actually got an anonymous tip from someone saying that Brandon was staying in an apartment complex.
Police rush to the apartment complex. Luckily, they catch Brandon on his way out the door and apprehend him.
Brandon cooperates, puts his hand up, and he's arrested without incident.
Brandon pretty much knew he was caught. It was over.
Now that they finally have Brandon in custody, detectives are eager to hear his side of the story.
With all of Brittany's lies, detectives just want the truth. She's been trying super hard to protect Brandon. However, what's Brandon's story gonna be? Is he gonna flip the script on her?
I truly think that Brittany loved and cared about Brandon. It was a very short relationship in terms of time frame. But I think because of Brittany's past, she just wanted someone to be in her corner. And I think that Brandon gave her this sense of security. He basically showed her that he was capable of loving her, and she bought into it.
May 23rd, 2017. Dallas police now have both Brandon Jordan and Brittany Pollard in custody for the murder of Alejandro Lopez.
Brandon got taken down to the station, got interviewed by the detectives, waived his rights, gave him a statement, and told them what happened.
Brandon gives the same story that Brittany gave, that Alejandro had a box cutter and he was attacking them.
Detectives slap Brandon with the charge of capital murder as well, just like his girlfriend.
They had a text message that clearly indicated that he was killed during a robbery. So now we went from murder to now capital murder.
One person's life is lost, his family is impacted, and it was because of the lure of quick and easy money.
In February of 2019, Brandon Jordan's trial gets underway inside a Dallas County courtroom. Brittany Pollard elects not to testify against her man.
For Brittany, she wanted to really prove to her man that no matter what, I'm gonna ride or die and be there for you. We're like Bonnie and Clyde. I'm gonna show you that I'm here for you no matter what.
The prosecution shoots down the couple's claim that Brandon shot Alejandro in self-defense.
This was a clear capital murder. We have a robbery and we can prove it.
They were planning to rob someone and take their money, and in order to do that, they were also prepared to kill.
The state theorizes that when Brandon barged in, Alejandro became terrified and tried to leave.
They believe the box cutter never left Alejandro's pocket. Brittany must have saw it when he pulled out his wallet of cash.
Brandon's a big guy. He's pointing a gun. He's blocking the door. He's speaking a language Alejandro does not understand. I'm sure he's pretty scared.
Prosecutors say that when the victim went to escape, Brandon shot him twice in the commotion. But the 2 shots didn't kill Alejandro, and the couple panicked.
Our theory is that he tried to pull that trigger more. He wanted that money. Could it be that the gun jammed? It's quite possible, and that's why he was only shot twice. At that point, I believe Brandon and Brittany said, oh my gosh, we have to figure out what to do. We got to get out of here.
The 2 then fled the room, left the victim for dead. No regard for his safety or his life. They were only concerned with themselves.
When it's the defense's turn, they maintain Brandon's statement and contend he shot Alejandro in self-defense.
He truly felt that all he was doing was defending himself and defending Brittany.
In the end, the jury sides with the prosecution. Brandon Jordan is found guilty of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison. In the wake of Brandon's sentencing, Brittany Pollard pleads guilty to avoid trial.
Brittany Pollard pleaded guilty to murder, and she was sentenced to 33 years in prison.
I don't know if she had just thrown in the towel and accepted her fate, or she just came to a crossroads where she said, you know what, I just need to own up to what I did.
Even though in the eyes of the law, justice was served, there's nothing that can bring back Alejandro Lopez.
All he knew was work and home and his friends and supporting his family back home. All of that was cut short because 2 people got greedy and wanted to take something that they didn't work for.
As for Brittany Pollard, she was a reformed convict with a budding career in the mental health field, someone who had worked hard to overcome her past, only to have Brandon Jordan bring her right back to where she started from.
She's probably thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Oh my goodness, prison again. I just can't believe this is happening. Almost like being in a nightmare.
Brittany's love for Brandon had ended up costing her the freedom she so cherished.
She did this all in the name of love. She was willing to risk it all to prove to Brandon how much she really loved him. And she didn't think about the consequences at that moment. All she could think of was, I need to show Brandon I'm really serious about us.
In the end, Alejandro lost his life and they still didn't gain any money. Both of them have really ruined their lives, and he lost his for no reason.
When you're looking for a fresh start, love can lift you to great heights and make you feel reborn. But some things in life really are too good to be true. That same love that made you feel whole can destroy you in an instant and pull you back into everything you fought so hard to escape.
It was supposed to be the weekend getaway of a lifetime in the heart of the Lone Star State.
They came to Houston to party and enjoy the nightlife.
He was doing what guys usually do, get girls, have a good time.
But the party's over when a shooting starts.
There were gunshots ringing throughout the neighborhood.
Harris County 911.
I don't know where I'm at, but they shooting. I'm scared.
He's shot multiple times, in the chest, the arm, just everywhere.
This was a very dire situation.
Were these tourists simply victims of bad luck? Or were there more sinister factors at play?
What?
I remember just thinking to myself, like, this can't be happening. How? Why?
It just didn't make sense.
This person isn't even from the city.
As detectives work to unravel this mystery, they will learn trust is a luxury few can afford.
This was a very toxic situation.
Come on.
I think it's a passion-fueled, jealousy-fueled crime.
We got anybody dead now from a certain type of way. I have no problem. I didn't know any of these were going to happen.
Sometimes it takes a long time to get to the truth, but that's what we did here.
This was a cold, calculated murder.
June 28th, 2021. It's not yet daylight in Houston, Texas, a city that attracts millions of tourists every year to enjoy its sports, restaurants, and world-class nightclubs.
Houston is a large city, and we have a very vibrant nightlife. It is an attraction, especially down in the southwest part of Houston.
If you come to Houston, you're going to be welcomed. You're going to enjoy a lot of great food, a great time, great party atmosphere.
But in the early hours of this Monday morning, the city is suddenly thrown into chaos.
Just around 3 a.m., there was an influx of 911 calls.
Harris County 911. We think we might have just heard gunshots. Oh my God, somebody shooting.
They're still shooting right now?
I'm scared. I'm in the back of my car. For sure.
By the sound of the reports, at least one person has already been injured.
Please, someone from. Hurry up, please.
Police race to the scene of the crime, a home in the affluent Houston neighborhood of Old Oaks.
It's a quiet neighborhood. This is unusual to have this type of disturbance.
When officers arrived, they were fully prepared to confront an armed shooter.
But instead, they only find the aftermath of the violent attack.
They see this young man in dire need. He's shot multiple times, in the chest, in the arm, just everywhere.
He's been pummeled with shots. Whomever shot him meant to do intentional and extensive damage, because they did.
It's really bad, yet he's still breathing.
There were some witnesses gathered around, and they were very distraught.
The young man's friends identify him as 28-year-old Gregory Moore.
Gregory Moore was losing blood fast.
They wanted to get him to the nearest hospital so that he could get to the emergency room.
Time was of the essence if they were going to save this man's life.
New York native Gregory Moore's outgoing personality and warm-hearted demeanor meant he had no trouble making friends.
He was a great, great friend. You could never just be mad at him, even when you wanted to be. You know, he just made you laugh. He was funny. He was a goofball.
He was just one of those guys who seemed like he could get along with anyone, always the life of the party.
But Gregory wasn't just the life of the party. He was also a dedicated father.
We had a family young. He was an amazing dad. He was not the disciplinary. He was the fun parent. He was the kind of parent that would be like, it's raining out, don't go to work today, let's stay home and watch movies. Or let's put a bunch of blankets on the floor and let the kids just do what they want.
However, as much as Greg loved his children, the pressures of parenthood put a strain on his relationship with their mother, Tatiana Anderson.
We were together for 10 years, so time took its course on our relationship, and we kind of had to separate to figure ourselves out.
Greg started to date other people and had a child with another woman in 2018.
By the summer of 2021, Greg was focused on being the best parent he could be and building his career.
He used to work the night shift. He was a community technician, so he was on the front line with the population that is undeserved the most. He had gotten to a place where he didn't know if that was something he wanted to continue to pursue. So he was thinking of going to trade school and just trying to build from that. He was talking about opening a business.
And in June of that year, Gregory decided to take a well-deserved break from the stresses of life by planning a trip with his closest friends.
Gregory and his friends came down to Houston to have a good time, have a boys' weekend, and just enjoy themselves.
They rent a high-end rental in Houston, Texas, and prepare for a few days of R&R and social get-down.
But instead of enjoying a weekend savoring the sights and sounds of a new city, the group's dream vacation has just become a waking nightmare.
Police responded to a string of 911 calls and found Gregory Moore unresponsive and losing blood fast.
He has multiple gunshots, including his neck, his back, his arms, his chest.
His carotid artery was severed. His lung was punctured. Just horrible injuries.
He's clinging to life and barely has a pulse.
Paramedics rush Gregory to the nearest hospital, hoping for a miracle.
His life essentially at this moment is hanging in the balance.
In the summer of 2021, Brooklyn resident Gregory Moore was enjoying a weekend in Houston with his closest friends.
He's young, black, handsome, trying to be successful, trying to make it.
When Gregory Moore and his friends rented that Airbnb in the suburbs of Houston, they thought that they were going to have a fun, ritzy, exciting weekend.
But just 2 days into their trip, the group's vacation has just turned into a catastrophe.
One of his friends had called me, and he was hysterical. And he was like, Greg has been shot. That's it. Nothing else. I'm hundreds of miles away. I didn't know what to do.
En route to the hospital, first responders discover he's been shot at least 10 times.
For the whole night, I sat on the couch. And I just waited. And me and his mom were texting, and she was like, oh, he was in ICU and he was gonna live.
Meanwhile, as the sun comes up over Houston, homicide detectives arrive on the scene of the shooting to begin their investigation.
When I arrived at the scene, multiple patrol units were already there. They had detained numerous individuals that had been in the home. As I walked up, I observed there be a large amount of blood on the front porch.
They also saw shell casings on the ground from a 9mm. The front of the house was littered with bullets.
It's so shocking because it shows the rage that the gunman had.
It seems that the shooter ambushed the victim, rolled up, shot him, and then left.
Near the front door, investigators locate Gregory's cell phone, but that's not the only phone they find at the scene.
They find another cell phone and a tablet that looks like it's been run over.
They were in the street in front of the house.
It looks like this is some sort of physical evidence from the shooter.
Unfortunately, the investigators aren't able to access the devices.
These 2 additional devices are locked. And not only that, the tablet has been damaged.
Extracting all the digital contents of the phones, that takes months.
The detectives don't have that kind of time to waste.
If you have an armed shooter on the loose, you need answers now.
Why would someone want to hurt Gregory?
These people had just traveled here. They were tourists.
Gregory Moore is not from Houston, Texas. He's from New York, and so this doesn't make any sense.
That's when detectives are approached by a neighbor.
Hey, detectives. I have something I think you'll want to see.
The neighbor had a doorbell camera that picked up some useful footage.
He's able to share the video with them.
It's not the greatest quality of video, but detectives can see the shooter's vehicle arrive around 3 a.m., and it's a dark-colored sedan.
Seconds later, a barrage of gunshots ring out.
I also took a video when the gunshot stopped.
And he recorded the end of this tragic evening.
On the phone video, you can see someone running away from the crime scene.
They jumped into the vehicle and pulled off. However, the cell phone video is too dark to identify exactly who this person is.
They aren't able to make out the vehicle's license plate from the video either.
As compelling as this evidence is, it doesn't do much to help the investigators narrow down their list of suspects.
We had no idea who the person was. Right now, we have to identify this guy.
However, before they can continue their investigation, Detective Crane receives a call from the hospital where Gregory is being treated.
Yes, this is Detective Crane.
They get a call that Gregory Moore has succumbed to his extensive injuries.
Gregory Moore was dead.
Houston detectives investigating the shooting of 28-year-old tourist Gregory Moore have just learned that he succumbed to his injuries.
He was pronounced deceased there at the hospital. It's a tragedy. It's the worst part of my job.
When the news spreads to Gregory's loved ones back in Brooklyn, they're devastated and confused.
And I remember just thinking to myself, like, this can't be happening. Not Greg. How? Why? I think in that moment, the air just left my body. My daughter had just graduated pre-K. And my son was going to kindergarten the following September. And I remember thinking to myself, how was I going to explain to them that he wasn't coming back?
Gregory had flown down to Houston with 3 friends, Raymond Gibbs, Clayton Barnes, and Troy Walsh. And the investigators' next move was to speak to them to see what they knew.
Gregory's friends are distraught when the detectives break the news to them.
Well, here's the deal. Gregory didn't make it, okay? So, we're gonna do what we can to figure out who and why, but it's gonna require some help from y'all, okay?
Gregory's friends are distraught. This was supposed to be a fun weekend in Houston.
They came all this way just to have a good time.
The detectives asked Greg's friends if they have any idea who the shooter was.
Is there anything you can think of that would help us in identifying?
The friends explain they'd only been in Houston for a couple of days.
We got out on Saturday around 3 o'clock. They went out Saturday night to have a good time.
Did y'all have any issues with anyone Saturday night?
No, we had no issues with anyone.
In fact, Gregory's friends say he'd hit it off with someone at the bar that night.
We learned that the victim had met a female at a club the previous night, on Saturday night, the same night they arrived.
My friend met these girls, and I guess we talked to them, and then I took one of the girls' numbers, he took one of the girls' numbers.
The woman Greg exchanged numbers with was named Stacy, and her friend Michelle exchanged numbers with Clayton.
They were doing what guys usually do, talk to girls, get girls, have a good time for the weekend.
The following night, Greg invited Stacy over to the rental house to keep the party going.
They were all just partying and having a good time. There was some more flirting happening between Greg and Stacy.
And eventually, Stacy suggested that they go pick up Michelle.
My friend wanted to come pretty much to the place, so we're like, okay. Greg asked me if I wanted to drive, and they're gonna come with me. I'm like, cool.
And so they left the Airbnb, traveling back down into Southwest Houston.
But along the way, their plans changed when Michelle decided to stay in for the night.
Her friend decided she wasn't coming anymore. Okay. We're like, all right, cool, whatever.
And that ultimately led to them turning around and driving back up to where the Airbnb was located.
By the time they made it back, Clayton was feeling hungry. So he decided he was going to go pick up something to eat.
Have a good night.
We get back here, and I'm like, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm starving. They're like, all right, cool, we're gonna go inside and lay down. Okay. I'm like, that's cool. So I literally drive in the front to drop them off, and they walking.
Clayton says as Greg and Stacy approached the front door of the Airbnb, all hell broke loose.
That's when they are ambushed.
I see a guy just running from the side of the grass, and I see a little flashing light, and then all I heard was shots going off.
Clayton took cover and dialed 911.
Need someone from? Hurry up, please.
Everyone knows what happened to Gregory, but where was Stacy?
The kids in the house did not know where the girl had gone. That caused us concern. We don't know who this girl is or what has happened to her.
There is not a last name, unfortunately.
Did she run away? Is she with the perpetrator?
So detectives start exploring all avenues to track Stacy down.
Stacy's friend Michelle was at the club with her the night she met Greg and his friends. Michelle and Clayton had exchanged numbers.
Clayton gives the police Michelle's number.
She agreed to come in and speak with them about this.
Thank you for coming in. You're welcome. We obviously want to talk to you about an incident that happened this morning early. Mm-hmm. And there's no sense in being all around the bush. Mm-hmm. Tell me what happened.
Michelle starts by confirming that she and her friend, Stacy Adams, went bar hopping on the night of June 27th.
We met some guys from New York. Everybody was having fun.
They find themselves on Saturday night at a club, having a good time. They think, oh, good, we got some people to hang out with.
The next day, which is Sunday, they were texting us like, do we want to come to the hospital?
Stacy was quick to accept the offer, but Michelle says she was more reluctant.
I already was like, no, because I don't know them like that. And I just met them, but she was texting me like, come over here, come over here.
At some point, Stacy told Michelle that she and the boys were on their way to pick her up.
I wouldn't answer my phone. I was trying to play like I'm sleeping, I didn't want to go.
They ended up continuing the night without her.
But a little while later, Michelle says she heard from Stacy again.
Girl, I told you I'm not coming.
She called her at about 2:45 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, panicking.
She was like, y'all can't tell on me, y'all can't tell on me. And we like, what you talking about? What's wrong?
That's when Stacy dropped a bombshell.
She was telling her, y'all have to alibi me out.
She was like, my dude killed some boy from New York.
What?
Houston police investigating the murder of Gregory Moore have been looking for a young woman named Stacy Adams, who was with Greg during the shooting.
Initially, police were concerned that Stacy could be another victim of the crime, but now they have to consider the possibility she was in on it.
Now, in speaking with Stacy's friend, Michelle, that possibility seems more and more likely.
Michelle admitted her friend Stacy wasn't as single as she presented herself to be.
She indicated she received a very frantic phone call from Stacy, and she let her know that her boyfriend had shot and killed one of the guys they had met clubbing.
She was like, my dude killed some boy from New York.
What?
I
According to Michelle, Stacy went on to explain that her boyfriend James had been spying on her that day.
Stacy's boyfriend found out she was messaging with Gregory. He was not happy about that.
His name James. I don't know his last name. I wish I knew it. He got to his family. He screenshot the messages to her and like you.
That's also how James found out where Stacy was.
The Instagram app allows you to share your location, so he can literally log into it and see on her locations where she is.
The boyfriend was able to track Stacy to where Gregory and his friends were staying by her social media. And when they get to the house, he jumps out, rolls up on the two of them.
She was like that. Her boyfriend pistol with the dude. And he shot him at least like 5 times.
Come with me if you know what's good for you.
After the shots stopped, Stacy did leave the scene with her boyfriend.
Even though Michelle doesn't know James's full name, she's able to provide the investigators with other useful information.
She had a very good idea of where he lived, and through that information, we were able to determine what cars are registered at that address, which came back to matching the car that they fled the scene in.
DMV records show that the vehicle in question is registered to a 21-year-old pizza delivery driver named James Ray Lane.
They pull his driver's license photo and present it to Michelle.
You recognize who this person is?
That's James.
That's James.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, detectives have to wonder if the mysterious second cell phone they found at the crime scene belongs to James Lane.
In an effort to try to put all these pieces together, the detectives ring the phone number that they have for James Ray Lane. And the phone that they found at the house at the murder scene begins to ring.
Bingo.
With that, we were clearly able to establish that he was in fact there, and we got to a point where we were comfortable in that James Lane was in fact our suspect. And after we had a warrant for his arrest, then our tactical operations team then began the surveillance.
They start by staking out James's home.
Police set up surveillance. However, after several days, James does not show up and they are not able to locate Stacy either.
Next, the investigators go after their suspect's vehicle.
They learn that his vehicle is leased from a local car lot.
And when detectives contact the car lot, they're met with a shocking piece of information.
The dealership said he's here now. He's here now.
Houston police immediately move in to make the arrest.
Stacy was there with him too.
James was arrested. Stacy was just traveling with him, and she agreed to come to our office and talk to us about what happened.
At police headquarters, the investigators placed James and Stacy into separate interview rooms for questioning.
They decide that Stacy is the first person that they want to talk to.
We might as well jump on off into here, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I do. The situation you're involved in, the truth is your best friend, okay? I want you to think about that as we talk about what happened last weekend. Is that a fair approach?
Yeah.
As Stacy begins to tell her story, it lines up with what the detectives have already heard from other witnesses.
Saturday, I went out to this little boy. We got drunk, and I met some guys.
She and Michelle met the fellas from New York that night at a club.
So we got to exchange numbers.
Yeah.
Stacy also confirms that she'd hung out with Gregory and his friends at their Airbnb the following night.
She admitted to, in fact, being there, She admitted to how she came to know the victim and his friends. But when we got to the real meat and potatoes of the shooting, she had a little different story about it.
This is what is real important. What happens? Okay.
She shared with us that she had no idea who the person was. He was masked up.
You do that on the mask.
Yeah. Okay. What did he say?
Nothing.
Stacy also denies leaving the scene of the crime with the shooter after he ceased fire.
What happened after the shooting?
I was in shock. When we went our separate ways.
What do you mean with your separate ways?
I know I went to move in the house.
Yeah? Okay. And how did you leave?
We walked. My brain felt like in that area.
She said she just walked away and went to her grandmother's house, who lived nearby, and then called people to come get her.
The detectives aren't buying it.
If you walk to your grandmother's house, give me your grandmother's name, her phone number, maybe even her address. Let's go talk to her. Back up your alibi. But she couldn't.
Detectives also have the cell phone footage from the neighbor, which they believe shows Stacy getting in James's car and leaving with him.
There's also the fact that she told Michelle a very different story than what she's telling detectives now. Her current version of events just doesn't check out.
I just straight confronted her with the fact that that's not true. That part of it is completely fabricated, and we're going to have to do better.
I think so, yeah.
Nope. Sometimes it takes a long time to get to the truth, but that's what we did here.
Police in Houston, Texas have zeroed in on 21-year-old James Ray Lane as their main suspect in the shooting death of Gregory Moore.
He was jealous. He was upset that his girlfriend, Stacy, might have been cheating on him, and he took it out on someone who didn't even know that she had a boyfriend.
But according to Stacy, James is innocent.
Stacy told the investigators that a man with a black mask shot Gregory Moore.
She said that she didn't know who the gunman was.
The investigators believe she's lying.
I share with her that if I don't believe it, a jury's not ever going to believe it either.
The truth is going to be very important for you right now. I'm sitting here today. I mean, it could either make you a witness, to make you part of the crime, and to make you a suspect. So this is your opportunity to tell us the truth.
I always tell them, we understand sometimes things happen that are out of the little room, but we generally get there. And that's what we did here.
Stacy finally admits on the night she went home with Gregory, her boyfriend James was blowing up her phone.
Everything okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
A lot of them I was taking screenshots of my DMs and stuff. I was really ignoring him because I was having fun at that point. I didn't want to argue with me.
Okay.
And then he kept calling and kept it.
She's getting text messages from James. He's wondering, where are you? Who are you with?
James had gotten into a tablet device that Stacy owned, and that was how he was able to access all her social media, the same tablet police found at the scene of the crime.
But Stacy insists she had no idea James was tracking her location.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Stacy says when James ambushed them outside the Airbnb, she was just as shocked as Gregory.
James was clearly upset and jealous.
He beat on a defenseless man. Greg didn't have a knife. He didn't even have a pot to hit him with. He had nothing.
Why did you not call for any help?
I was scared. I was still in shock. I never seen nothing like this.
Come with me if you know what's good for you.
Stacy was in such shock that she actually did leave with James after the shooting.
I was going to stay with him until the police got there. But I was scared.
She says that James then dropped her off in an area of southwest Houston called Meyerland.
Okay, so you rode into Meyerland and just got out of the car on the street in Meyerland?
Yes, because I have people.
She was unsure as to where James went or where the murder weapon was.
But they get together a few days later and decide to lay low at her cousin's house in southwest Houston.
After doing that for a few more days, they make their way to the car dealership, hoping that they can get a new car and drive out of town. And it is at a car dealership that they get busted.
I have no problem. I did not end a piece of problem.
But is she telling the truth?
Now the detectives make their way across the hall to talk to James to try to see if their stories will line up.
Houston detectives investigating the murder of Brooklyn native Gregory Moore have just taken a statement from 18-year-old Stacy Adams.
Stacy admitted to her boyfriend, James, being the gunman, but insisted she had no idea of what was going to go down.
Now, detectives are eager to hear James's side of the story.
There was a shooting that occurred, and this boy got killed. And I received information, a lot of information, that tells me you may have something to do with that. I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell us what happened.
Much to their surprise, he admits that he was on the scene.
What made you go there that night to the house where the shooting happened? You better go home. That was my thing.
But James says after he showed up and found Stacy, the situation quickly got out of hand.
According to James, when he arrived, he told Stacy, "Let's go."
Come on.
I told her, let's go.
What you think you're doing?
Take my girl back home. Get your hands off me.
Came at me. What do you mean he came at me?
When he indicates Gregory attacked him. He said he did what he needed to do in order to defend himself.
That's why he shot Gregory.
Came at me.
Unfortunately for James, the detectives know he's not being truthful.
James told the police, basically, he felt threatened by Gregory Moore. He had the 9mm. He shot Gregory Moore 10 times, killed a man. And so it's astounding that he would try to shift the blame.
Well, James, let me stop you. Don't start going down a path of lying, all right?
I just lay out to him, these are the facts. This is what we know, and this is your opportunity to tell us what happened.
You're going to have to tell us what happened without some crazy story that doesn't make sense and is not consistent with the evidence, okay? What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me the truth. Yeah, I'll tell you the truth.
After a little bit of time, he comes around to the most self-serving truth he can get to, and he asked me and my partner, what would you do if you saw someone handling your woman that way? I I asked him to elaborate on that, and he wouldn't. But he put himself there, and then he put himself trying to justify the murder. And that was sufficient enough for us.
At the end of the interview, the investigators charged James with the murder of Gregory Moore.
I would like to have had a complete, total confession as to why he did it, but that's very hard for a lot of people to do.
Investigators conclude that James's girlfriend, Stacey Adams, was an innocent bystander in the crime.
Detectives do believe that Stacey is telling the truth about not knowing what James was going to do that night.
They ended up not charging her with any crime.
However, as prosecutors prepare for trial, they aren't planning to go easy on James.
Making the decision to drive 40 minutes all the way up to North Harris County and wait, lay in waiting for them to return. It's a passion-fueled, jealousy-fueled, immaturity-fueled crime.
This was not an act of self-defense. This was a cold, calculated murder.
James is now facing life in prison. Having an acquittal just seems highly unlikely.
So he decides to come to the table with the prosecutors to try to strike a deal to save some part of his life.
James finally confesses to investigators' version of events and admits to gunning down Gregory Moore in cold blood.
In exchange for a full confession, they do offer James a deal of 22 years, and he does accept this plea deal.
He's got to serve at least half of that before he can even be considered for parole.
For Gregory Moore's loved ones, the resolution in this case isn't enough.
James got 22 years. 22. In 22 years, James will still be old enough to have a family, to have children, to have a life.
This sentence is quite light, but James is 21 years old and has never so much as gotten a traffic ticket.
It's really heartbreaking because prosecutors even said after the sentencing, he never showed remorse to the victim's family. He never showed that he felt bad for the situation.
Gregory Moore should be alive today, enjoying his kids growing up. James Lane should be in the free world today, doing what kids his age should be doing. And neither one of those things are going to happen now.
Greg didn't have cancer. He wasn't in a car accident. He wasn't hit by a bus. He was shot. And that's a hard pill for me to swallow.
No one thinks this is going to happen to them when they are traveling. Maybe someone steals your wallet, but you certainly do not lose your life because you decide to give someone your phone number.
I often wonder, when he was laying there, like, was he scared? Was he regretful? No, I hope where he's at, it's peaceful. I hope that he's in a beautiful place far than where we are. And I hope he's looking down on us because we miss him something terrible down here.